For the NBA All-Star Game announced on this night, the 30 NBA coaches making the selections as we start in the Western Conference. Ja Morant headlining the reserves, followed by Domantas Sabonis, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Paul George, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, a first-time All-Star selection, and Jaren Jackson Jr. No Anthony Edwards on this list, no De'Aaron Fox on this list. So a couple of interesting selections in the West. And here's a look at the 7 reserves from the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid headlines the list. He was selected as a starter in each of the previous 5 seasons. Didn't make the cut this year, coming in 4th in the front court behind Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Jason Tatum. Tyrese Halliburton, who leads the NBA in assists, is a first-time All-Star. I would say that trade for Indiana and Sacramento working out nicely. Domantas Sabonis, an All-Star, Tyrese Halliburton, an All-Star. And for the first time, the All-Star draft will take place right before the game, like pickup basketball. February 19th in Salt Lake City. Team LeBron, Team Giannis will choose from the group of starters first and fill out their rosters with the reserves. Again, February 19th in Salt Lake City. Welcoming former NBA Coach of the Year, Avery Johnson, who coached in the All-Star Game in 2006. More on that in a moment. The 30 NBA coaches select the 14 reserves. Start with the Western Conference, Avery. Love to see a guy like Lauri Markkanen for the Jazz make it. What's your reaction to the reserves in the West?
Well, I love the Lauri Markkanen. Again, with Utah, Hakeem, this guy's been sensational. You know, obviously he started off his career with the Chicago Bulls, you know, out of Arizona. And he's really changed his trajectory in the league. You know, been able to play inside out, you know, with a new coach in Utah. Obviously, you know, a guy like Mike Conley, who's, you know, a veteran point guard, has helped him with his transition. But Lauri Markkanen has been sensational this year, and I believe that he's well deserving of this spot, especially in a home game for him in Utah, where I'm going to be attending the game in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because there's all these signs of trades and moves, right? So we're going to have Domantas Sabonis in the All-Star game, who was in the trade for Tyrese Halliburton. And then you got Lauri Markkanen, who was dealt in the Donovan Mitchell trade, and Donovan Mitchell's in the All-Star. It's interesting with the Utah, all the connections here in the All-Star game. Let's go to the Eastern Conference. MVP candidate Joel Embiid headlines the list of reserves. Aside from him, and look, I don't know that I like the Eastern Conference of reserves as much as I like the Western Conference. DeMar DeRozan, Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, Julius Randle, and as I mentioned, Tyrese Halliburton, who leads the NBA in assists. Let's start here. Who's a player you're happy to see get selected to the All-Star team from the Eastern Conference?
Well, I'm happy to see a guy, obviously, like, you know, Drew Holiday. Because when you look at Drew Holiday, obviously he's not a guy that's going to, you know, really, this from a stat sheet standpoint, he's not a stat sheet stuffer, but I'm really happy to see that they reward winning and they reward that this guy is very consistent night in and night out. You didn't ask me who I'm unhappy.
Well, I'm going to get there.
We're going to get there in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy for Drew Holiday because if you look at his body of work after being traded from the Pelicans to Milwaukee Bucks, he's been outstanding. He's won a championship. You know, obviously Middleton gets hurt last year and they can't fulfill their opportunity to defend their title. But this guy plays on both ends of the floor. I'm always for the little guy, especially when it's well earned and deserved. So I'm ecstatic that Drew Holiday, even though some of his stats may not be jumping off the sheet, I'm happy that he made the All-Star reserves.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, he doesn't have the numbers like a Jalen Brunson or a James Harden, who's averaging near a triple-double this season. Who's your snub here in the Eastern Conference? I mean, to me, it would be Jalen Brunson or James Harden. I guess I'm going to make you pick from the two there.
Well, I'm agreeing with you, and I probably shouldn't be saying this because Jalen Brunson knocked me out and helped my coaching career come to an end when he was at Villanova. But I love the kid and what he did for the Dallas Mavericks last year, and then take his game to the next level with the Knicks. And really, he's the reason why the Knicks have an opportunity to make the playoffs this year. If Jalen Brunson is not in the Knicks uniform, they're not even in the play-in. They're probably an 11th, 12th, or 13th seed in the Eastern Conference because his ball handling ability is taking his team to the next level. You know, you look at Julius Randle, he's an all-star because of Jalen Brunson. If Jalen Brunson is not in the Knicks uniform, I don't see Julius Randle having the double-doubles and leading the East in double-doubles this year. I think that's a direct reflection of Jalen's leadership, even though I know they added his dad to the coaching staff. But this kid, this is a significant snub for the Eastern Conference reserves.
As for the West, I was looking at a couple names: Anthony Edwards, De'Aaron Fox. Who's the guy in the West that you're like, man, that's disrespectful?
Well, you can look at C.J. McCollum, you know, from the Pelicans. That could be another one to add to your list. But De'Aaron Fox, the job that he's done, with the Sacramento Kings and Mike Brown, his coach, this is another big-time snub. When you're, one of the top, 2, 3, 4 teams in the Western Conference, you got to be rewarded. This kid's, been in no man's land in Sacramento, but now he's frontline and center. His team's one of the best teams in the Western Conference. They won a lot of close games. They're competing on both ends of the floor. And I'm happy for Sabonis, but I would have chosen De'Aaron Fox. He's one of the fastest guards with the ball, night in and night out. I remember watching this kid on the AAU circuit playing with the Houston Hoops team back in Houston. And obviously I coached against him when he was with the Kentucky Wildcats. This guy deserves an all-star. So I'm not hoping or wishing for anybody to get injured. But if there is an injury situation, he would be my first call if I'm the commissioner of the NBA.
Yeah, I was a little confused with the Jaren Jackson Jr. selection. I mean, I get it. Like, he's missed a lot of games, too. I don't know. That didn't make sense to me. But, look, I'm not a coach. This is the coach's selections.
And again, I've been in that room where I've had to make those selections. I would have chosen, De'Aaron Fox for this spot. And that's not to take anything away from the rest of the guys that have earned their way to be on the All-Star team.
We got a lot of nice players, a lot of players second-year All-Stars and a couple of first-time All-Stars in this All-Star game in Salt Lake City, again, February 19th. As I mentioned, you coached the Western Conference All-Stars in 2006. You lost to LeBron. That was a pretty good game. I had to just at least say, so I have to be transparent here. But get this, the entire starting five from the Western Conference All-Stars that year, Hall of Fame. Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Tim Duncan, Yao Ming. And the reserves you got up for Hall of Fame and Shrine. You got who you got? You got Dirk Nowitzki coming up, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker. I mean, that was Hall of Fame you were coaching there. If they let you pick, go.
No, I'm saying the biggest mistake I made, even though I love all of the guys that were on my team, if I had it to do all over again, make sure Kobe Bryant gets the ball for the last play of the game.
Yeah, that was.
Even though Kobe was deferring, I should have made an executive decision. Get the ball to Kobe. I'm sorry, Kobe.
Yeah, that was a heck of a team that you got to coach in 06. A legendary
and Tracy
team.
McGrady, Tracy McGrady, Hakeem, was outstanding. We were playing in Houston. He was outstanding. So
he was. That was a fun. I mean, the game was in Houston, so you had McGrady, you had Yao Ming. That was pretty cool. And you got the Dallas guys too, and Nowitzki. Pretty sweet. And you're a Dallas guy, of course, coach of the year that year. Avery, if they let you pick your starting five from this year's group of All-Stars, who are you rolling with in Salt Lake City?
Oh, this is a tough one. Drum roll. Put it on the screen. This is a tough one, Hakeem. So again, this is a tough one because when you look at the reserves, both of these teams all of these guys are deserving. But if I had my top five, you look at a LeBron James, Luka, Steph, KD. These guys. It's hard. I know there's an argument for Joel Embiid. There's an argument for guys like Luka Doncic. But this is a tough decision, and somebody's got to make the tough decisions. You're telling me that, even a guy like a Jason Tatum probably deserved to be in this list. But if I can only choose 5, this is my 5. And I'm living with it. It's tough. Guys got to make a tough job. I'm a turnaround specialist. I'm trying to turn the All-Star game around. Let's play it in 2 different cities on consecutive nights so I can have a different starting 5.
All right, so who wins then? Your 06 Western Conference All-Stars or your 2023 All-Star team? LeBron, Giannis, KD, Luka, Steph against Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Tim Duncan, and Yao Ming. If they matched up on the court, I mean, that's tough. I'm asking you that question. I'm not answering that.
It's tough because it's tough on my end because I got to find a matchup for Yao Ming, which is hard. And I don't think we have an answer for Giannis.
Well, they're both good teams.
They're both good teams, but I'm taking my team.
Yeah, and look, those the 5 you picked for this year's squad, I mean, those guys are, 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them right now are locks for the Hall of Fame. So, and one of them, Luka Doncic, is clearly on the path there as well. Avery Johnson breaking down the reserves for the All-Star game in Salt Lake City. Avery, thanks. Here's a look at the NBA All-Star weekend schedule. Rising stars Saturday night with the dunk contest, 3-point contest, and the wrinkle in this year's All-Star game. The captains will take turns selecting players, be picked on game night, like pickup basketball style, right before the All-Star game, February 19th in Salt Lake City.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.